We are back again. Good evening, cherished viewers, and welcome to another episode of the NSMQ Live Chat. My name is Isaac Asare, your host. Our guest today is Isaac Asare. Let me have a minute to read Isaac's profile. Isaac is an alum of Mfantsipim School and a 2017 NSMQ participant. He is recognized for his exceptional intellect and trailblazing contribution to the tech industry. After making a mark on the NSMQ, Isaac furthered his education at Campbellsville University in the United States, where he became the first African valedictorian. With a strong foundation in computer science and mathematics, Isaac has worked with leading tech companies, including Google and Meta, where he continued to innovate and lead software engineering. His journey is an inspiring story of perseverance, academic excellence, and groundbreaking success in the global tech industry. Isaac is here. Let's welcome him and hear from his own mouth. Isaac, good evening.
Good evening, Isaac.
Right. Quite hilarious. Welcome to the NSMQ live chat. We are great and we are privileged to have you here.
Thank you for having me on. Thank
All
you.
right. So, can you share a bit about your family background and how it has influenced your passion for science and technology?
I'd say I come from a larger family. I have four siblings, so we're five kids, and then there's my mom, and my dad, so we're seven. So I grew up in a bit of a larger family. My parents were not strict. It was a Christian home, so there was the usual church related stuff, go to church, and they encouraged Christian related activities. But outside of that, I don't think my parents were very strict. I think my passion for science and technology probably came from my eldest brother. He went to St. Augustine's College, and so and he was a science student as well. So I usually used to see most of his books and most of the stuff he was doing. He used to talk about very little to understand the majority of what he was doing, but it just mostly sounded interesting. Also, he used to watch the NSMQ on Saturdays. I think it was on GTV then, and I used to just sit around and watch it with him. I didn't try to solve any of the questions or really know what was going on, but it was just fun to see people, normal students on the stage answering questions. So that was where my passion for science and technology came in, I think.
disruption. So where were we? Okay, so let's take that question at
Oh,
first. Your family background and then how it has influenced your passion for science and technology.
wait, you want me to repeat the answer? The cut off? It
Fine,
cut.
let's. We had a little network disruption, and so most of the things you were saying, I couldn't hear them. Okay, right, right. So let's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
okay.
fine. That's fine. I'm getting the feedback that our online people heard you, so that's fine. Let's way a little away from the academics. Can you tell us, more about your social life? Are there some?
More about my social life.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I watch a lot of sports, particularly football and basketball. So I spend most of my time doing that.
Okay. Do
I
you
think
play
most of the
football
time I'm
yourself?
not studying. What'd you say?
Do you play football yourself?
Yes, yes, yes. I do.
In, in what
I
position?
play football every Saturday. Yeah. Oh, I'm a defender. I play left back.
Age number five, right? Or left with
No, no,
left
no, no, no. Left
four.
back. Left back is number three.
Now, no, I'm asking whether number five central position, right or left.
Oh, left back. I'm not tall enough to play center back, so
Oh, that's
I just stick to the left back. Yeah.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Continue.
Yeah, and I watch basketball too, but I don't play that. And
Are there,
yeah, excuse me.
that's okay. Continue, please.
Yeah, and so outside of that, I'm in a bunch of mentorship programs as well. So I serve as a mentor in some programs that try to provide mentorship to underrepresented communities as well. So that also takes up a good amount of my time. And so yeah, mostly that's what I do outside of
Do you do
work
that in the
or studying.
okay? Do you do that in the U.S. or you come back, locally and you do these things?
Oh, right now, most of the organizations I'm part of are based in the US, so I've not done anything in Ghana yet. Except
Okay, so now let's talk about the National Science and Maths Quiz, the prestigious National Science and Maths Quiz. You participated in the NSMQ in 2017 for Mfantsipim School. Mfantsipim School, they have quite a history, when it comes to the NSMQ. But lately, it's been ups and down. So I think we'll deal with it later, right? So would you kindly give us all your fondest memories in the NSMQ?
okay, so when I went to Form One, we just won the previous year in 2014. So we didn't really
Right,
meet them when they had already won it. So there was a very huge NSMQ culture because we just won. So people became more aware of the competition, and there was more like, oh, we have to keep on winning. So it was a huge thing back in school when I. And then the following years came by, and then it got to my turn. I think the NSMQ was very great. My fondest memories usually involved, so we'd go on trials to other schools, and during my time, we did a lot of trials. We would go to schools over different regions, not just in Central Region. And I think that my fondest of memories was when we were coming back to school after the trials, and there's no stress of contest anymore. We just got down with all of it, and it's just us boys in the bus on a long journey back to school, and we just talk about anything and everything, just have fun in the bus. It was very nice, that
Did you
part.
guys eat
Also,
Jama on your way back?
we were too tired to do that. So
Oh,
mostly we talk about football.
oh, right.
Yeah, and then when we get back to school, we'll do a contest. We'll redissect the contest, see what goes. We don't do that in the bus.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that one of my fondest memories was seeing other schools, because if I wasn't part of the quiz, I would never do that on my own. I would never get up and go to other schools. So the quiz like helped see what other schools look like.
especially
Yeah. So
girls.
that was good. Yeah, I guess you can say that.
So let's take it
Mm,
back. Let's take it back. Um, a
right.
Form 1 boy. Usually, when you come to Form 1, you don't
Mm,
know your left from your right, and so to get into the
yeah.
team, the NSMQ team, I think is a special procedure. Some of the schools write, an overall exam, then they take the best, top maybe 10 or 20 or something. How did you get to be inside the Mfantsipim 2017, NSMQ team, right from Form 1, let's say?
Okay. So this is a just some story.
Right.
So in Form One, when I went to school, I didn't really take to school well. So I got sick. We went to school in October, and then I got sick by November, and so I went home. And then when I came back, they had written the quiz exam for getting the first batch of quiz boys for Form One. But then at the end of the first term, they also tried to go to all the science classes to get a science student who had done well, and if they were not already in the quiz team, reincorporate them in it. So I was part of that group. So I was reinvited because of the first term's exam, right? And then we used to write exams, quizzes progressively to cut off people, and then get a team down to a smaller number. So one of the later ones that we wrote was to cut down the team to a particular number, and then at the time the number was 15. Yes,
You had
yes,
50
15.
people, right? 50 or
15,
15.
15,
Oh,
one
right,
five.
right, right, right.
Yes, that was not the end number. That was just
The
preliminaries,
prelim,
but that
right.
was one of the major cuts. Yes,
Okay.
because we were a lot then. We were like 50 or something. We were trying to bring 15.
I said
But then when we
Mfantsipim.
wrote the exam, I finished 16th. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So so when we wrote that exams, so when we wrote that exams, I finished 16th. So that was right below the cut. So it was over. It was like, oh, I didn't make the cut. So I was very devastated that day. I remember I called my brother, told him, yeah, I don't know, it's done. I guess I just have to focus on school now. But then I guess the quiz masters realized, oh, we're 15, and because at the time they were now trying to do away with quizzes and have actual parent trial contests with each other, we needed an even number. So they decided to add me to where 16 even number.
You were a runner up.
Yeah, yeah. So they decided to add me to that to make it 16, so that we become an even number. And then I guess that the pain from knowing how it was to be excluded kind of me to make sure I was never out of it again. And
So
then
how was the feeling like,
yeah, that
first of all, after when you know that probably I'm one of the best people, and so if I write the exam, I'll pass, and then writing the exam and passing is a whole feeling on its own. And then when you know that, oh, I have to force myself to be in this team, and then you write the exam, and then the results are out. You didn't make it. You were the penultimate, I don't know, after the deadline, or did I say deadline? Maybe you were
mm,
the surplus on the number required.
mm,
And so you knew that it wasn't going to
mm.
work. I've lost all hope. And all of a sudden, there's this miracle where they say, oh, we need an even number to pair the people. And so coming, how was the feeling like?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Right? If you're religious, you say, "Oh, that's God." You know.
I do, right?
When your first point about, oh, you're one of the best. I think you don't get to have that entitlement in advancement because
in Form 1, even in
everyone's
Form
yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't get to have that entitlement because everyone's most people are as good as you.
I was
So
even talking about
you
a mental position. Is
mm,
even when you are going to write a BEC, your performance over the years, will inform the kind of school you choose, right? And so the fact that you chose Mfantsipim, and you got it means you are one of the best. Right. So that was the angle that I was coming from. That you, and when you come in Form One
Yeah.
and you wear the uniform for the first time, Charlie, you feel so elated. Sometimes where you could be walking and then you looking at yourself in a way, Charlie, and what
Yeah, right. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. So with them coming back, I think that time we were informed too. It was I couldn't believe that happened. That oh I still got another chance because I guess
well,
that really
I guess
happened.
you called your
So
brother then.
yeah, I couldn't
What do
believe
you
it.
mean by this?
I was
Brother,
very excited.
I give you wrong information. I'll give you the right information now. Right. Okay, so
I'm sure I
you
did.
got
I'm sure I did. Yeah.
right. You got to be in the team. You guys, did exemplary. You guys did well. During the quiz, were there some extra, contest activities that you can still remember that that made your stay in the competition, a memorable one?
So I guess one of the things that we tried to the previous year, Adisco beat us in the finals.
Come again.
And that was very yeah. We lost to Adisco in the finals,
Oh,
if you remember, in
as
2016.
usual. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes. So what do you mean? As you? No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Mfantsipim
So
has not
we
been
lost
there over
to.
the years. Mfantsipim has not been there over the years. You guys are trying, but then it's
It's
not
not like
without the.
Adisco has been there either.
Uh, let's talk about the performance of Peters and Mfantsipim for the last decade. Peters is way above you guys.
Okay. You let's just answer the original question. We'll come to
Right,
that.
right, right, right.
Okay. So, one of the you were saying one of the memorable thing or one of the things we sought to do.
Yeah,
I remember
extra
we
content.
so yes, so we lost to Adisco the previous year. That was very annoying because we were there for the finals. So we it was very painful. So we decided that we're never going to lose to Adisco again.
Right.
For my time, and yeah, me and Darren never lost to them. So that was something that I remember we decided was going to happen. So that was nice that we were able to do that. Also, another thing, I don't know, there were lots of trial contests. It was I hadn't been to the Eastern region before. Then we went to Eastern region, had a bunch of contests, and I remember those contests fondly as well. That was nice.
Right.
We also
Right.
went to GSTS.
Okay.
Yeah, we went to GSTS. The GSTS one also was very yeah. So
Okay. Okay. So
yeah.
okay, so we would like to know, the impact that the participating in the NSMQ has had on your life. Like, I know that it is not easy to be in the NSMQ, and it takes a lot to be in. And when you're in, there are certain trainings and behavioral patterns that you conform to that have everlasting effects on your life. And then you use some of these things as you go ahead. So, what are some of the things that you can say that NSMQ gave me this? NSMQ participating in the NSMQ, gave me this, or that you understand what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think that for me it was the ability to learn a lot of information, consume a lot of information, understand it in a
Right.
very short amount of time and move forward to the next. Because in college it's mostly like that. You have to learn a lot of things at once in college and you have to keep up, you know. So if you're in the quiz, you have to do that too. Because if you want to win, you have to learn a lot of things that you are not originally taught in school. So you have to accustom yourself to uh, consuming a lot of information from the start. So once you start doing that in the quiz, that skill stays with you. So it's also very helpful later on when you go to the university and then you have to learn a lot. You have to balance your time and really learn as much as you can and be able to keep up with schoolwork. So I think that particular skill, and then also staying up early on at night to study. I mean, you don't really have an option when you're doing the quiz. You have to stay up at night, longer hours to study. So getting used to staying up longer at nights was also a skill I learned from doing the quiz. I
I
mean, it
believe.
messes up your sleep schedule, but you just
Uh-huh. Right. I believe we're able to balance it. Sometimes we keep awake and learn throughout the night, and during the day you are less productive. So I believe you were able to. When you talk about learning throughout the night, I'm quick to bring in this disclaimer, sort of, because we want people to learn, throughout the night or whatever it is, but we want you to be able to balance, your learning process, able to have equal hours for the night, equal hours for the day, that overworking in the night will not affect your productivity during the day. You understand? Okay, so we're going to say something. You're okay.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, I understand, but there's just a little cost you have to pay for doing the quiz today. So
Of course,
that's just.
definitely. Okay, so your the NSMQ.
Mhm.
Hello,
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay,
Yes.
so participating in the NSMQ, you came along some of the challenges that, like we said, your training in the NSMQ helped you overcome. What are some of the relatable things that real life situations that when you got to this point, had it not been some of the trainings that you had in the NSMQ, some hurdles in life that you wouldn't have been able to cross, even post college.
I guess taking initiatives, right? Because when you're doing the quiz, your teachers can't teach you everything. So sometimes you have to go out there and then find out that I need to know this and I need to make time to make sure that I know this. That I know this. But at the end of the day, I am responsible for it. I have to make sure that this thing is known. So that taking of initiative and learning things that are unfamiliar or there's not a lot to think something that for you, even when you are at work, because when you are at work, taking initiatives is rewarded and you are more you're more, let me say, useful. You're able to break this and achieve more. So I think that it stays with me all the time.
Okay. So, have you been following the recent NSMQ? Have you been following recent competitions, the NSMQ competition from 2017 onwards?
Oh yeah,
I asked whether you've been following the recent
every
NSMQ from 2017 onwards. Hello, Isaac. Sorry, sorry, viewers, we lost Isaac for a moment, but we
oh
are
yeah, we're
back in.
back.
Yes. If we fall 7 times, we write 7 times. And so I was asking, have you been following recent NSNQs from 2017 onwards? Hello, Isaac. So welcome back, Cherries viewers. We had a little network disruption, but we're having a chat with Isaac. Isaac Asare is an alum of Mfantsipim Senior High School, a former participant of the National Science and Maths Quiz. Isaac is telling us, life after the National Science and Maths Quiz. He is doing exploits. If you want to hear more about Isaac and his exploits in the tech industry, you have to stay with us for the rest of our time. We have 29 minutes left. Don't go anywhere. If you have comments for Isaac, please leave it under the stream and we'll read it for Isaac to answer. Can you hear me, Isaac?
Yes, yes, I can. Can you hear me?
We were discussing if you've been following the recent trend of the NSMQ from 2017 onwards.
Yes, yes, I have. I watch it every
Yeah,
year.
right. Are you excited about how the NSMQ is going, the growth rate of the NSMQ from 2017 to 2024? After you participated, there's been new additions. There's been some things that were not going well with taking them out, and prime time lessons, and we are improving the program every day. So, are you excited about the trajectory of the program?
Yeah, I think they're not sure that the quiz is doing very well. Around October, I think now it's all so excited about the growth. Yeah. Did you want me to talk about and subtractions as well and what I thought of them?
Yeah, anything that has gone on with the program that you can share. Any identifiable
Yeah, I think that the substitution thing works really well because it makes planning, I think, and puts you're able to balance it, makes more you can be more tactical. So that makes it introduces a new surprise element to the quiz, and that's nice. I think I also learned that now the psychologists talk to them before
right,
the
right.
quiz. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
I think
right.
that's good.
That-
That's good.
Okay,
That's really good.
okay. So looking back in time, was there any time that you were preparing for a contest that you wish you had a psychologist, psych you or try to release your tension before you mounted the stage?
The teachers do their best.
All
They
right.
do very well to calm you down. But then also you're getting on stage and you're going to run of thousands of people. There's just so much that can be done. You're going to be a little anxious. But once you stage and come in, I feel like you just get into it, the questions come. Now you have, and so gradually the anxiety leaves you. I think where it would even be more beneficial to even have a psychologist is after the contest, especially when you have lost, because it's very devastating then. And so having the psychologist at the start is very good. And they are trained to do that, so they will even do a better job than just even uh, doing. And but having, I think having them afterwards will also, maybe for like a week or something, to stay in touch with the students. It's also going to be very helpful.
Okay. So, could you now let's delve into your professional life? We've spoken about fondest memories at Mfantsipim School. We've spoken about fondest memories on the NSMQ. Now, let's go to college or life after the NSMQ. How has life after the NSMQ been for you?
I guess in the long run, it has been great, right?
That's- Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it has been.
Can you
After
hear
I
me?
was done with, yes, 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 I can hear you.
All right.
So after I was done with the quiz, I enrolled classes to try to write SATs and come to the US to and yeah, a lot went on with that, and then I ended up at Campbellsville, and yeah, particularly here I rank MOBA. You know MOBA, right? The Mfantsipim Boys Association. They
Sure,
they
sure, sure.
really helped me with, yeah, they helped me navigating school, and it was actually one of the things. Don't one of the You asked me earlier some of the things I got from the quiz. It's actually one of the things, because MOBA, it's full of incredible people, and once you do this quiz, the quiz kind of gives you an easy access to them because you don't need any introductions, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
so
sure.
the quiz was very instrumental in them. So that was one of the good things I got from the quiz. But yeah, I went through college, computer science and math. It was a bit tough, but we went. And then while in college, I interned in my sophomore year and Google, yeah. And then I went where I work now. I waited. Uh, so yeah, it's been a ride. I feel like I'm looking about the ups, but as well,
Yeah, okay.
like there's
Another
no.
okay.
I
Another
mean, there's no
captivating.
Ghanaian food. I didn't mean I was starving.
Come again.
I was saying when I said there's no food, I mean there is no Ghanaian food. I was starving.
Okay. You wanted to eat fufu in Campbellsville, eh? Why is fufu your favorite? Oh, but I learned that there's this. We are like local boys, but then I learned that there's this African market that you can get anything that you want. Any
Oh yeah,
Ghanaian kobe, momone, all those things. If you really want them, you can
yeah,
get them.
yeah. You can, but my school was in rural Kentucky, right? So I'm probably not familiar with that. But those things are very rare there, basically.
Okay. Another
Yeah.
captivating thing that we read is that you were the first African valedictorian. I believe that there's been tons and large, innumerable number of people that have been at, like blacks, Africans that have been at Campbellsville. And yet, it's just that single boy from Eastern region in Ghana who was the first black African, let me say, valedictorian of the school. How did you achieve this? And how's the feeling, being the valedictorian? Charlie, valedictorian for Lagos, Charlie, it's not easy. Then valedictorian, Charlie.
Yeah,
I'm not
so
trying to look down on Lagos or any other thing, but I'm just, it's
yeah,
inspiring.
you
It's
need that
inspiring.
disclaimer. You need it. Yeah. Um, yeah, so when I went to school, I just got into America. I just feel like I had a lot to prove. So as I said earlier, my parents are not strict, really. They just encourage you to do what you want to do, and so they just give. I feel my parents just provide a common presence, like, oh, just don't try to kill yourself. Just try to do your best. But um, I also don't want to let them down. It's not like they will ever say I let them down, but then also I always feel like there is a point to prove to them that I came to the US and I'm doing it. So when I started college, it was gradual. The first semester went by, then the second semester went by, then the third semester went by. And then I realized that, oh, I can actually do this. I can achieve with the highest GPA possible. So from like the fourth semester onwards, I actually started working towards it that this is what I achieve. So it didn't come as a surprise to me. I actually worked towards it. It was hard, and sometimes you're just like, yeah, this is not anything. It can just go. But I don't know, somehow I just continued. I think the most important thing is finding out why, accepting why you're doing it and having a strong why. So that every time you're trying to slack off, you can remember that and stay on track. But that, that was the have uh, having black person or first anything like that. It was just something that I really just wanted to do for myself. Yeah.
You didn't have that premeditated mentality of being. But did you know that? Did you know that in the first place? Did you know that no
I
African had
didn't.
achieved that? You didn't, or you
No,
did?
no, I didn't. I didn't.
Wow. Okay. So you were the valedictorian, and then we have a question. Probably was answered, but then Lillian in the comment section, we want to know what being the valedictorian of a school with such great, information attached, being the first African, what does it mean to you?
What does it mean to me? I think the most important thing out of it is that people like me can see what I've done and know that it's possible. Like it's not strange. You can do it. And with black people or Africans, when you go out of Africa, you are in the minority. So it's very easy to give up. So seeing that people before you have done it, you can relate to these people, and so it kind of brings down how scary achieving some of these things are. So I think what it means to me the most is that people like me can see it and then be like, oh, I can do it too. And yeah, they can do it too. So that's what it means to me the most, like how much message it sends to people like me.
Okay. So walk us through your career now, what you're doing at Meta, and how you're carrying through and the responsibilities that come along with it, and how you're carrying through this responsibility.
Yes, I started in March after I graduated in December. And I work as a software engineer, so I can't really go into the exact details of what I do, but it involves writing a lot of code. I do web development now. So mostly there is an initiative. I work on a team with other engineers, product managers, uh, designers and all of that. So there's usually an initiative of, oh, we have to solve this problem, or we're trying to do this project, and then you have to design a solution for it and come up with an implementation and write a code to get it done and then push it out. So that's like a high level overview of what happens uh, day to day as my day to day work. But then also you meet a lot of smart people and people from all the world, and it's very nice hearing about people from different perspectives and backgrounds, and you meet very very smart people and you're like, oh, I thought I was smart, but this person is crazy. So
Right.
yeah, there's that too. Yeah.
Okay, so you've spoken about a lot about projects and coding and tech and all that. What is the craziest project or thing you've done in the name of science and technology?
Craziest thing I've done in the name of science and technology. Okay, so is
Yeah.
this crazy as in I didn't think I would ever venture into this thing?
something
something
that is
along these lines.
extraordinary, something that is above the norm. Something that probably I remember someone shared that he caught a live mouse and then tried to, because he had seen when you go to school.
Counts, but when I was in undergrad, I did research. I don't see myself as a research person, but my school has a molecular dynamics lab, and my physics professors. I took a physics class, and the professor wanted me to join the his lab because he needed someone to do some work that uh, he thought I could do. So I joined the lab. It was mostly about writing some code to analyze proteins and DNA, because we were trying to devise a means for an early detection of some disease. And I never saw myself doing anything like that or doing research this kind of, but I did end up doing it and actually publishing a paper on it. So that was exciting. I don't know if that counts as crazy, but that
Yeah,
was
it's
that was
definitely
exciting for me.
definitely.
Yeah.
Usually, when the people there are people that love biology, and so they tend to go into medicine, right? And then the people that love physics, mathematics, chemistry, physics, mathematics, let's say, tend to come into programming, coding, and those things. And so to have written
Mm.
a code, that could help the early detection of a disease that you were talking about, this is something crazy. So we have another question from Kwame Firms. He says that if given the chance, how would you use your skill in software engineering to impact our motherland? Now, people want you back already, oh, Charlie. You should start packing your bags.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I definitely do want to. I definitely do want to come back and do something in
no,
Ghana.
yeah.
Uh,
So he
right now, I right now I don't know that that's entirely going to involve tech more, but like most of our things we do in Ghana have middlemen, right? Um, if you're most of the things you have to pay money to someone and you have to interact with the person, and that just increases the amount of corruption that we have. So I think that one way that tech can help eliminate these things is to help automate these stuff so you don't have to deal with middlemen anymore. And then when middlemen goes down, I feel like it will bring corruption to a bit, and it's something that we can start from there. Um, Also, I guess artificial intelligence is becoming more popular now, and most likely going to be a much bigger deal even in the future. So uh, we can see how we can incorporate that into curriculums in our universities, because it will be helpful, right? Because it can analyze a large amount of data. So for something like drug discoveries, it could speed up the process of like drug discovery because to analyze a lot and simulate a lot more treatments than you would normally have been able to without it. So it's become ubiquitous now. It's everywhere, right? You can use it in transport. You can use it for data analysis. You can use it in business and healthcare. So I feel like this really will just be should really be a nationally coordinated effort where we undertake things to revamp our systems.
Okay, that's beautiful. We have another question from Monet Gerald, or Monet Gerald. He says that can he please give us? I want to read it in the tone that the person wrote the question with. He says that can he please give us advice
How do
on
you know the tone?
it's an SHS question. The person wants to know how to live his or her life in SHS. So you definitely come with that tone. So could you advise
I,
Monet
I, I
on
I
how
don't
to live?
I don't know if I'm the best person to be giving you
I
advice.
believe that I
So
believe that he's probably seeing you as a mentor, right? And then if you're a mentor and you did something right in SHS and you passed, you went to
right.
college and became one of the best and the valedictorian. It means that you did something right in SHS. And so he wants to know what you did right that gave you that, that propelled you into this future that we are having today.
Yeah, I think the friends you make is very important because you have to make very good friends because I think we underestimate how much our friends influence us. So if you have a really good network of friends, they will help you to stay grounded because you will tend to
Right.
do most of the things your friends. So when your friends are they're trying to do important things, they're trying to do a lot of good things, you stay in that zone, and that's all. So you have to be able to have good friends. But then also, I think you should. I'm not saying pick the same kind of. You kind of also have to diversify it a bit. Like in school, one of the things that helped was my classmates. I felt like my classmates kept me grounded because you go to the lab and you have to study a lot, and it's just like Brella stuff. It's just like NSMQ stuff, and you have to study a lot. But sometimes I go prep my classroom and my friends, and we're not studying NSMQ stuff and talk about everything. So that also keeps you sane. So, how you should live your life in SHS, I think you should make good. At the end of the day, just remember that you are there to write WASI, right? Mostly. So don't
Right.
forget that, and always try to
Right.
work towards that.
Right. So we spoke about psychologists, psychic participants before they Can you hear me, Isaac?
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah. I can hear
So
you.
yeah. So we spoke about psychologists, psychic students before they climb onto the NSMQ stage to show what they have, and then also spoke about teachers doing it before the psychologists come. There was a moment, when we announced that you were coming on the program. We had so many comments, and so many people were making reference to a time that when you were going to solve the problem of the day, instead of writing, that's showing on our screens. So instead of writing in Mfantsipim, you wrote in Mfantsipim School. Now, could you remember this incident in the first place?
Yes, I remember. I mean, I'm reminded of it like every year, so I don't think I can forget. Yeah,
So, what made you do that? What made you do that?
I feel like the about that is that it was done under pressure.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
You seem to be
Can I go ahead
answering.
and talk?
No, wait, please. You seem to be answering this question with a particular energy. I mean, all of a
Yes,
sudden,
yes, because I have to deal with it every year. I mean, it's not like I'm mad at it, so I don't really mind, but it's
it
just
has
funny.
become a thorn in your flesh.
So
Then.
yes, yes, you can call it that. So I think the biggest misconception
So, wait,
about
I
this
see
is it
you
was done
share a
under
tear.
pressure.
Did I see you share a
Huh?
tear or something fell on your eye?
Oh, something for. Oh, I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't cry about this.
All right, let's go.
Yeah. So the biggest misconception about that was that it was done under pressure. It wasn't. This was our quarterfinal contest against Agri and Anlaw. Yes, it was Anlaw, I believe. Yeah, so we had three contests. That was relatively I'm not saying that contest was wait, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you clearly.
All right. Yeah, so I'm not saying that contest was easy, but if you look at the three contests we had, that was relatively the shortest one. So that was
Ish.
not done under pressure. I
Wait.
just switched. Oh, no, 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 no age, no age.
Ish.
No age. No, no age. So I just I didn't even realize. As you can see the picture that I just kept on writing a couple of times, and then I was like, all right. Just didn't realize what I done. And it's actually not okay, maybe I shouldn't say this, but it's actually not the first time that
Oh, feel free.
I
It's not the
guess
first time. It's not
swapping
the
the
first time
TNS
you've
happened.
misspelled the Mfantsipim.
I don't know, like yeah, it's not the first time actually. Maybe
Oh,
I don't know, I don't know. Yeah, that I just happened there, and it wasn't a pressure. It has nothing to do with psychologist or pressure or anything. I just happened to just switch it on.
are
That's
you
all.
sure? All
Yeah.
right. So let's see.
Oh yeah,
Right
yeah.
right from Form 1, SHS 1
Mm,
through NSMQ by God's grace, and then through college, and then Google. You know, looking back in time, what would you want to do differently if you have the time? Today we say we are teleporting people back to time, back to maybe 16 years old or 15 years old or 12 years old. What would you have done differently if you got the time to go back to say SHS 1? But I'm not limiting you to SHS 1. I want you to throughout the period from SHS to probably where you are today. What would you have done differently
mhm.
looking back in time?
I don't think there's much I would have done differently. But one thing for sure is, go to 2017 and actually win the competition because yeah, that's probably the only thing I'd change because it's it's very devastating when you lose. Because you prepare for this for about 3 years, your whole life in high school, you're working towards this. And if you're, it's bizarre because if you're a senior in school, you do all of this just for 4 contests.
Right, and
Yeah,
it's very
from Form 1
dangerous.
to Form 3.
I always say that 1/8 is a slippery ground because when some schools like last year we had Gehe, is it Holiko, Louis, those girls schools, Gehe, Louis, coming all the way from prelims to the quarterfinals, right? Semi-final, very good.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when you're coming from the prelims, you actually come from a very relaxed, especially when the school is good and they had their way, thrown back in time. And so you're coming from a very relaxed, position. You deal with so many schools in the prelims, and then so it keeps your momentum going. But when you're also coming, when you're a senior school, it gives you a certain mentality that I am good, and so I can move forward. And trials is different from the NSMQ national championship. That the kind of tension and readiness that one needs to progress in the NSMQ is quite different from what we have in the trials and even the regionals. And so, if you're coming into the contest from at the 1A stage where you meet some schools like Gehe and Louis, as in last year, who were coming from the prelims with fire, knocking schools left, right, center. Peters, it's 1A is very slippery because you can go, you can come and go in time. Within seconds, you
Mm-hmm.
can come and go. Do you understand? And so,
Mm-hmm.
Frank, continue what you were saying. I want to give you
Yeah.
the
So
background.
yeah. Yeah. I understand. Yes. But sorry, I was saying, once you get to 1/8, or let's say you're seated school, um, you get to 1/8, you're just you're prepping your whole time for 4 contests, right, to win the competition. So I think the original question was how what I would change differently, and then I was just trying to answer that by
Right.
saying just go back to 2017 and win. And I was just trying to give the context that it's very painful to have to deal with it because when you lose, that's why earlier I was saying that maybe a psychologist could keep in touch with the students maybe a week after the contest ended, because when you lose, you just have to deal with it. You once you get to the stage, you realize that, oh, I actually lost, and then it feels like, well, your teacher spent a lot of time in you, they put a lot of effort in you and resources, and it's just over. You lost for you just have to deal with it for the rest of your life. So it's um very hard when you lose. So I would definitely go back and change that. But yeah, outside of that, I don't think that I would change. I would change much. I like the school I went to. I like how everything turned out.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. We would like to listen more to some of the amazing stories you have. We would like to know more about your your journey from NSMQ to where you are today. But time is not on our side. But you still remember some of the people that you graced the stage of the NSMQ with, some of the teachers that made it happen, and all these people. Do you have some people that you would want to acknowledge today? You would want to give shout outs to? Let's go.
Yeah, first of all, teachers, right? So our quiz teachers were Mr. Hope. I think you know Mr. Hope and
You are
Mr. Redwan. And yeah, so Mr. Hope, Mr. Redwan, and Mr. Duncan were our teachers mainly, and they put in a lot of time and resources. They have families, but they still kept up with us, and it was a huge sacrifice for them to do that. So I really want to I can let them know that we don't take them for granted. I mean, I guess we're sorry we didn't win, but we appreciate the work they did, and it's a good work done. God bless them. And outside of that, yeah, my teammates, then we were 7 when we came to Accra. Yeah, so my teammates there as well, and Daryl most importantly, yeah, and yeah, all my teachers in Mfantsipim. I had some amazing teachers in Mfantsipim, so that was fun, and my classmates were also very fun people.
You've forgotten the names
Yeah.
already.
Oh,
Okay,
I remember my teachers. I remember my teachers' names. It's just that I don't
yeah,
remember their actual names. I just remember how we used to call.
that's beautiful. Okay, for all of us at Prime Time, all the NSMQ circles, we would like to wish you well in your future endeavors. We believe in you, and we believe in the trajectory, that's the journey that you have started. And we know that this is just the beginning. You can go on and go on and go on and be whoever you want to be. Thank you for raising the name of Africa high. When it came to the accolades, giving you the accolade, they didn't say Ghanaian. They said African, the first African to be the valedictorian of Campbellsville University. I think that's a great feat, and we would like to encourage you to do more. We would like to hear your name on a very, high platforms that will keep bringing the name of Africa into the grace and the limelight that we've always wanted to be. Thank you very much for gracing the NSMQ live chat today. This is all that time will permit us for today. So, viewers, we have come to the end of the NSMQ live chat for today. We had Isaac Asare, the Campbellsville valedictorian, and he is the first African to become the valedictorian of the school. This is the great feat of an NSMQ participant from Mfantsipim School. If you want to hear more interesting stories like this, do make time for us. Same time, 5 p.m. next week, Thursday. Thank you. My name is Isaac Kwejukwe, and I have been your host. Meet you same time next week, Thursday.